Alright guys, brand new Yu-Gi-Oh cards. There is a Blue Eyes support card, but it's for like Exodia, which is kind of like crazy. We're getting a brand new boss monster that can barely attack 3 times, which, well, probably going to see some OTKs with that card, some rank up stuff, and more importantly, it's a bunch of Performage support, and we do have an errata, so a card that I'm sure a lot of people will be interested. But I want to check out the Blue Eyes stuff first, because this got announced like yesterday, and like it was only 1 card, so I try to save videos for when we have enough cards to go ahead and make some content for. So anyways, Blue Eyes of the Heart is a brand new dragon effect, light level 8, 3000 attack, 2500 defense points, and it's always treated as a Millennium card. So it says that you can use the first effect with this card's name only once per turn. Then you can use the third effect of this card's name only once per entire duel. Only after you activate Millennium Ankh. So it says you can discard this card, add a Millennium Ankh from your deck to your hand. And then the second part says possession of this card cannot switch. The third part is if your opponent normals or special summons a monster whose level is 8 or higher and or with 3000 or more attack, while this card is in your graveyard, you can send that monster or monsters to the graveyard. If you do, special summon this card. Pretty interesting effect. Now I'm wondering, what happens if you try to activate like creature swap when you control this card? Can you even activate it? We'll have to wait and see. I kind of want to test that out. Because I remember back in the day when people were using Kaiju, and then I think it was like remove Brain Rush, and kind of a cool little combo there. But this is actually a pretty good effect over here. I mean, it's monster or monsters who levels 8 or higher, so you can potentially absorb a bunch of different things, bring this card out, and then while this card's in the graveyard, you send the monster or monsters. So like if they go for pen a bunch of cards, well, you just absorb all of them. It doesn't even destroy them, so you can get this card back. But remember, that is a once per duel effect. Well, it is pretty good because it just lets you add Millennium Ankh, which is pretty important for the archetype. Actually, I need to double check what the name of the card is. I think that's a translation thing. Okay, because, yes. Okay, so it is Millennium Ankh. It was actually Millennium something before, but nonetheless, that is this card. Okay, so this one lets you show pieces of the Exodia. So now you can play Exodia Blue Eyes, which is weird because, like, it doesn't really work with Blue Eyes. Like, I don't think you could just put this in a Blue Eyes deck because then you're playing Blue Eyes Exodia. It's probably just meant for Millennium, but maybe there are going to be more support cards for specifically Blue Eyes and Exodia to find it kind of exists in a deck, which I think is really cool. Maybe we'll get a bunch of OG things. I think that this is kind of what the Millennium stuff is supposed to kind of do. It's kind of a throwback archetype. Anyways, we got a lot more new Yu-Gi-Oh cards to check out. Okay, so this is a bunch of the Performage stuff. So Intermage is Performage stuff. Anyways, we got the Fire Dancer, which is a level 4 fire spellcaster penned effect, 14 attack, 12 defense, penned scale of 6, pendulum effect. Once per turn, you can target 1 Performage monster you control. This turn, if it attacks defense-based monster, you get to do piercing damage to your opponent. The monster effect is that you can only use the first monster effect of this card's name once per turn. So if this card is normal or special, you get to add a Performage monster from your deck to your hand, except for itself. Second part is, if this card in the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to target 1 face-up monster in the field, and it loses 500 attack. Next up, we got the Performage Water Dancer, and so it's a level 4 water spellcaster, 1200 attack, 14 defense points, pendulum scale 2, and the pen effect is that you can only use the first and second pendulum effect of this card's name each once per turn. First part is, control a Performage monster, you can special summon this card. Second part is, when a monster declares an attack, you get to target 1 attack for this monster and change it to defense position. The other monster effect is you can only use the first monster effect of this card's name once per turn. So if this card is pen summoned, you get to add a polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand. I actually really like this effect. You can splash it in lots of things, right? The second part is if this card in the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you target 1 attack for this monster and change it to defense position. Okay, just being able to even add poly could be somewhat utilized for a lot of different stuff. So I like that. Next up, we have the Performage Wind Drainer. So it's a level 5 wind spellcaster pen effect monster, 21 and 0, pen scale of 4. The pen effect is once per turn, you get target a Performage pendulum monster you control to activate one of these effects. So you can reduce its level by 1 or increase this card's pendulum scale by that monster's. The monster effect is you can only use the first monster effect of this card's name once per turn. So the first part is if your opponent controls a monster or a Performage monster that is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, you can't special summon while this monster is on the field except for Performage monsters. Okay. I think that this card has a pretty good effect. I mean, it's just any Performage on the field, which is pretty easy, and you special summon it. And if you do, you can't special summon monsters on the field except for Performage monsters. So am I supposed to give this to my opponent? I'm assuming you special summon it it's from your hand. It doesn't say to the opponent's field or anything. So what I'm trying to understand. I guess that if they summon, you get to summon something, and then you get to you're locked. I was trying to think more on the lines of like giving it to your opponent, so you're locking them. But back when you used to be able to do that with like acid golem and stuff. Anyways, if this card is special summon, you can reduce its level by 1, and then once per turn, you get to change the levels of all level 4 Performage monsters you currently control to 5. Okay, so you get to reduce it, and then you also get to change it to 5, and then you can go back, I guess. So maybe it's for some stepping stones. Next up, though, we have Performage Cup Tricker, which is a light spellcaster, level 5, pen effect, 1200 attack, 14 defense, and its pendulum scale is 1. So the effect is that you can only use the first and second pendulum effect of this card's name each once per turn. First part is you target a Performage monster you control and attach this card to it as material. If a card or card is added to your extra deck, you get to add one face-up Performage pen monster from your extra deck to your hand. The monster effect is that you could only use the first and second monster effect of this card's name each once per turn. So the first part is, if this card is in your hand, you can target an Exodia monster on the field, detach one material from it, and if you special summon this card, then detach one Exodia monster on the field, it loses 600 attack. If this card is detached from an Exodia monster and sent to the graveyard, you get to activate that monster's effect. You can target 2 Exodia monsters you control, detach one material from one of them, and attach it to the other. Okay. So more ammo, and then we have Intermage Trapeze Force Witch, or Performage Trapeze Witch, which is a level 7 Dark Spellcaster Fusion effect, 24 attack, 18 defense, and it requires 2 Performage monsters. So it says your opponent can target Performage monsters you control with card effects, also they can't be destroyed by card effects. Okay, so that's a pretty good card already. Remember, the other cards are all poly, and the summoning condition is so easy. Second part is, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for an attack while you control a Performage monster other than Performage Trapeze Witch. Oh, so they have to attack it. Okay, so but this is Performage, so it doesn't say, it just says can't target them, and they also can't be destroyed. So it doesn't say other, so that should include itself, right? So you have basically a really good setup to kind of lock your opponent there. And then when an attack is declared involving your Performage monster and opponent's monster, you can make that opponent's monster lose 600. So you can make him lose 600 and then another 500, so 11 total with the other previous card. But I think this is just like a really annoying card to potentially deal with for certain matchups. But if you're playing against like something like, I don't know, maybe the Nubo Dolces, they just don't care, right? Because you don't target. It says they can't be destroyed or by battle. I guess you could still, yeah, if it's like non-targeting, but I guess they could just be destroyed by battle, right? Yeah, so they would just be forced to be destroyed by battle. A lot of the stuff with this, you can reduce the attack. Maybe throw in that old school card from like Duels of Rose, throw in that mirror wall, and your opponent not going to be able to attack you. Alright, anyways, next up though, we have, is this their boss monster? The new one, the Intermage Kagashi Shadow Maker, or Performage Shadow Maker. So this is a rank 5, so you can remember the other card boosted things up. So it does require 3 level 5s, but 26 attack, 1000 defense, and it says you can only use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. So you can detach this material from this card to send a Performage monster from your deck to the graveyard, add a rank up magic spell from your deck to your hand. Okay, that's pretty cool. Since it is a generic, you could use this in other things, being able, well, you do have to send a Performage from your deck, so that it does require that, but just being able to search up a rank up magic could be pretty good for certain other things. And then when a card or effect is active that targets this card, as a quick effect, you detach a material from this card to supposed to summon a Performage Shadow Maker from your extra deck. So you can bring out another one. And then, if the last material is detached from this card, you get to special summon one Performage monster from your graveyard. And I think this is the boss monster that I was waiting for. Alright, so let's check it out. Performage Trapeze High Magician is a rank 5 light spellcaster, exceeds effect monster, 27 attack, 22 defense, and requires 2 level 5 spellcasters. So it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while it has material. And then your opponent takes any effect damage you have taken. Instead, you can only apply this effect a number of times per turn up to the number of materials attached to this card. Third part is, if this card has Performage Trapeze Magician as material, it gains this effect. So you can detach a material from this card can attack up to 3 attacks during each battle phase. Remember, they could do some stuff with reducing, so, I mean, the stats of it being, well, a little bit okay. It technically could be a little bit higher, in terms of, like, math there. But I still think that being able to attack 3 times, I mean, yeah, you're going to be able to OTK with this. You boost up the stats, maybe throw in, I don't know, because you could have, like, the 2 pen skills, right? Just throw in that, I was supposed to say United Stand. Mage Power. You throw in that Mage Power, that's 1,500 and 3 attacks. I mean, that alone is 4,500 plus its base attack. I don't know. I think you could probably do some OTKs, maybe just for funsies, but is it going to be meta just for the OTK? I don't know. Next up, though, we have the Rank Up Magical Force. So maybe this is the card you're going to search out with. So you can only activate a card with this card's name once per turn. So you can target a Rank 4 spell, Exceeds Spellcaster and Graveyard, special summon it, its effects are negated. If you do special summon one Rank 5 Exceeds material, monster from your extra by using the first monster as material, and if you attach this card to it as additional material. So you get basically 2. And the second special summon is treated as an Exceed summon. Okay, perfect. So you can go for the cards real easy. And then we have some reprints, Damage Juggler, Hat Tricker, Trick Clown, and Trapeze, Polymerization, and there's some errata on this card over here. So let's see, what did they exactly change? So it's a level 4 fire spellcaster pen effect monster. I remember this card was good at one point. So it's pen scale of 5. Pendulum effect is like, you can only use the pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. So if a face-up Performage monster you control is destroyed battle or card effect, you can special summon this card, then take 500 damage. The monster effect is, you can only use the monster effect of this card's name once per turn. So if this card in the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you just special summon one Performage monster from your hand or deck, except for Performage Plush Fire. What got changed is the monster effect had been given was casually referred to as a hard once per turn. Oh, okay. So it's not a hard once per turn. So usually with erratas, it's a nerf. This is, as far as I can understand it, it would be a buff, right? So cool. I was not expecting it to be. I was expecting it to actually get nerfed. I'm guessing you use something to destroy, and then you special summon this card. I haven't played this in a while. I remember when the Performage was like, it was like meta for like 1 week. You guys remember when they like immediately nerfed that deck? Like legit, it only lasted like 1 or 2 weeks. And it got nerfed pretty hard, but it was pretty OP. It was like with the Turtle and like the other like magician card, the one with like the hat that's like jumping in there. I remember that, but it's been a while since I've seen that deck so you need to play. But what do you guys think of this? Is this going to be anywhere near meta? I honestly have no idea. I haven't seen even one person. I like scrounge around to see what people are playing all the time to get gameplay for you guys. I have not seen one person play this in like legit years, but does this make it better? Let me know down below. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on it. If you want to see maybe gameplay, if I can catch that wild goose, that shiny Pokemon player basically playing this deck, I'll give you guys the gameplay. Anyways, catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.